talk about what we got in front of us. The polisher on the left, which is what it is just a polishing machine. I've been building for the past 3 years out of my own just creativity, design, based off my criteria. And it's a 3-phase. Right now it's currently running a 2 horsepower motor, but at the very end it'll have a 3 horse in it. And I have a gear reduced from 3450 RPM, and it probably runs somewhere closer to 3200 RPM. But I can always change it back whenever I want. This one is one that I got off the Facebook Marketplace. It's also 3-phase. It's a 5 horsepower, I believe. And then the arbor size, the bore size on the shaft is 1.25 inches. So it's a pretty significant upsizing and shaft diameter. So it allows me to run a bigger wheel and obviously really polish some really rough stuff with that one. But I couldn't pass this one up. The deal was too good to be passed up. It was $375. The reason why the guy was selling it was because he didn't have 3-phase, and it was just too much for his little operation. Currently, it doesn't really have any electrical. It came pretty much with a pretty jankety push button on-off start system that was unwired. To be honest with you, most people suck at electrical, which is pretty common. I'm okay with that though, because that's basically what I do for my career / money / job, as I build and fix electrical equipment. So I'm going to take you along with me today. We're going to basically go over this machine. We're going to get it wired up. We're going to add a VFD, and we're going to also add a potentiometer. So we're going to have a speed controller, and we're going to be able to ramp up the speed of this by using a little knob, twisty knob thing. So here's the name plate or the plaque. You can kind of see it says 5 horsepower. It tells me it does about 3,470 RPM. It is a 400. It's 440, but for our case, it's 480 volts. It says amps. It's kind of hard to see, but 6.5. Obviously, we have a 60 hertz, 3-phase. There's a model and serial number on it, but it's pretty much impossible to read. It does say organ right there, which is kind of cool. So it's made by United Industrial Falk Trio Incorporated. I've never heard of them. Pretty cool though. This is what we're looking at in the back of it. Now, we got some interesting features in this machine that I don't know anything about as of right now. I believe this is some sort of oiling port. I'm not too sure. And then there's 2 other ports on the machine. One's broken off, one's missing, and the 2 on the bottom are capped off. I have to imagine those are grease / oiling spots, which, again, I don't know anything about this. I don't even know where to go to even figure this out. So we're just going to take it one step at a time. Today, we're going to be putting the VFD, hooking up the electrical, and getting it so it turns on and functions when I go to plug it in. So as you can see on the ground, we have our VFD, our speed controller, and our pedestal base for the polisher buffer. And you can kind of see I already kind of have it half-ass hooked up. That's because I did a live stream a couple nights ago, and I wanted to kind of mess around with it off camera. Well, I was on camera, but not doing a filming event. Let's look at it. So we're using a Yaskawa V1000. It's a vector drive, but it's a variable frequency drive. So what that allows us to do is we can basically change the hertz of the motor, and we can speed up or speed down the motor based on changing the frequency of the hertz. You don't change the voltage or amperage, you only change the hertz, and that's how you're able to get a speed controller on a 3-phase AC motor. So if you can see, you got a hole there, you got a hole there, and then at the bottom as well. The holes are drilled relatively straight. I'm gonna say that I think they're actually threaded too, but we're not gonna use the threads. But they go in there pretty well. Now, I have reservations about putting the drive in the interior of this thing for a couple reasons. One, it'll make it more difficult to work on, and 2, I don't know, maybe we should just put it on the inside. It's just dirty on the inside. I don't know if it's a great idea, but let's go around to the inside and see if we can take a peek in there, and maybe we change our mind here. As you can see, the 4 holes are right there. I mean, why not? We can definitely put it there. I think we should go ahead and put the VFD in the inside. We're going to do my famous trick, and we're going to do a permanent temporary solution. So let me go grab a couple things. I got the fucking joint ready. Oh yeah, buddy. Let's turn on some fucking tunes, and let's put this VFD in. And once I get the VFD in, I'll come back with you guys, and we'll talk about the wiring and the setup procedure. And we'll go as far as to log into the VFD with the laptop, and we'll start talking to that thing, and we'll do some fun stuff today. I promise you. Okay, so here's where we're at. VFD's in. Everything as far as the high voltage goes is finished. The last step we gotta do is hook up our low voltage. I gotta connect it onto that low voltage terminal block so that way we can control this VFD when the door's closed from the little handheld remote up top here. So I'm gonna put you guys on time lapse one more time, and by the end of it we should be firing it up, and we'll get the laptop out. We'll mess around with the VFD a little bit. Alright, so we're basically ready. I believe we have everything wired properly. What we can do now is I can turn it on and see if the speed control works, and then once we are happy with that, we can plug it into the laptop using the Y-Stick, which is a Yaskawa specific tool. But yeah, let's see what happens there. Okay, so here's what we're dealing with. I got the, I guess if you call it the remote speed controller. That's talking to the VFD. But I must have a setting wrong, or one of the jumpers is missing, because I'll show you. Okay. So as I turn the knob, you can see the frequency go down, go up, So we're good there. We just got to figure out which one of the terminals is preventing this one from turning back on. I'm pretty sure I know which one it is, but my laptop's dying, so I had to go plug it back in. But yeah, we know it works because we can put it in local mode. Right now we're in remote mode, so in local mode it's fine. It is spinning in reverse. We can change it in the settings. We can change that there, or we can change it up there. We can change it at a lot of places, but really, I'm going to change it up in that little J box in the motor. All we got to do is just switch any two of the wires, and then the motor should theoretically spin in the right direction. So I'm going to do that off camera real quick, and actually, you know what? Let's do that on camera, so that way everyone believes me. So any two wires in the back can be switched. So let's just go ahead and do that. Now we have the power disconnected over there, so we're all set. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I know what the last problem is. They put a jumper wire in between the terminals S1 and SC. It's like a safety button, which I need to put a safety button on here. We don't have one on currently, but I don't want to modify the pedestal at all as of right now, so. Oh, I think it's in the lower block. That's why I can't see it. So if you look, there's 3 blocks. It's going to be on this lower block. We got to put this jumper. Okay. I think we got it. Let's go ahead and let's dial back this to about 1. And let me get you guys set up over here. How about that? Perfect. It says we're only pulling about 3.5 amps, and we're only at about 60% throttle. Let's ramp it up a little bit. Now, if you're wondering, this is just a cheap signal generator that you can buy off Amazon. I glued some magnets in the back of it. That's why it sticks to everything. Kind of helps out. But yeah, I got my my VFD set in 0 to 10 volt mode, and this is a 10 volt generator. I could save it in milliamp, but I like to just do 0 to 10 volt. It's a lot easier. Alright, it's getting late. This video is too long. I don't have enough energy to finish it up and actually make it coherent. So we're going to leave the VFD programming for a separate video. I hope you guys come back and watch part 2 of it. But we're going to call this series the Ultimate Polisher series. And we'll talk about the other polisher in a separate video as well. But otherwise, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching the video. Leave me a thumbs up. It really helps. Thank you.